So we are officially at the end of 2014, and it's been a pretty good year for games overall. It started off pretty slow, but once the holiday season rolled around, we got some pretty good games there at the end. And I figured, what better way to say goodbye to 2014 and hello to 2015 than to count down 10 of the best games we got this year. Now, I do need to lay out some ground rules. I am excluding any kind of re-release, like The Last of Us HD or Grand Theft Auto 5 on next-gen consoles, as well as collections and compilations, meaning the Master Chief Collection is off the list. With that out of the way, let's jump right in. So the first game on our list is Telltale's The Wolf Among Us. Now I know technically this game came out in 2013, but since 4 of the 5 episodes were released in... Did I say... Damn it. Damn it. The first game on our list is Telltale's The Wolf Among Us. Now, I know technically this game came out in 2013, but since 4 of the episodes were released in 2014, I'm including it on this list. Now, what was so great about The Wolf Among Us? Easy. It took everything people loved about The Walking Dead and moved it over to a gritty detective story set in New York with fairy tale characters, but hold your judgment. For starters, it's based off of a comic book series, and second, it works extremely well. It's hard to explain exactly why, but the detective story is extremely well written, and you almost forget that the characters even came from fairy tales at all. They become their own entirely new characters in this story. It's a fantastic game series, and was one of the few bright spots of an otherwise pretty slow first half for the year. Number 9 on our list is Shovel Knight. Now, have you ever been one of those people that complains that games nowadays are too flashy, that they're trying too hard to be a big-budget Hollywood movie in a video game form? Well then, Shovel Knight was the game for you. This game is built entirely around the idea of, let's take an NES platformer from 1985 and design it in 2014. And it works amazingly. The attention to detail, all the way down to using the same color palette as the original NES, really helps sell the game as just this loving homage to 1980s platformers, but the modern 2014 design sensibilities avoid the frustrations of dated game design. So you really get the best of both worlds. Retro appeal, great modern gameplay, and a fantastic downloadable indie game. Coming in at number 8, we have Mario Kart 8, and no, I swear I didn't do that on purpose. Mario Kart 8 was one of the biggest reasons to buy a Wii U in 2014. I mean, you'd think people would be getting a little sick and tired of the same old kart racing Mario game, but every single entry keeps proving us wrong. Whether it's the gorgeous HD visuals, the amazing racetracks, some of which will probably go on to be classics in the series, or the awesome new anti-gravity mechanic that shows that Nintendo isn't quite out of ideas yet. Mario Kart 8 is just a fantastic racing game, and just a great game no matter how you look at it. Ignoring the fact that they butchered the battle mode. Ignoring that, it's a fantastic racing game, and definitely one of the best games on Wii U, or the best games released this year for that matter. The 7th game on our list is Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, which was the other big reason to own a Wii U in 2014. What made this game so great for a lot of people was that it didn't really change much. Instead, it just took what people loved about the previous games, gave it an HD makeover, added a bunch of new stages, and then said, you know what would make this even more crazy? Let's take that 4-player multiplayer and make it 8 players. Because Smash Bros. Wasn't chaotic enough already. It's way too chaotic for me. I can't even keep track of which character is mine and which one's the other player's. But everyone else really loved the game. It's sold extremely well and gotten a great reception from critics and from fans. and is one of the best games out on Wii U right now. Taking the 6th spot on our list is Shadows of Mordor. This game is 1 part Assassin's Creed, 1 part Arkham Asylum, and 1 part beheadings. I mean the Nemesis system, and also beheadings. Basically what this game did was take the awesome parkour mechanics of Assassin's Creed, mix it with the smooth combat of Arkham Asylum, set it in the Lord of the Rings universe, and then implement a really cool system that made every playthrough unique by keeping track of enemies you'd killed and the ones that survived, and giving you enemies that would feel personal, that would have a grudge against you, and give you a reason to care about what you were doing. It was a really clever system that took the game from a good action game to a great action game. Now once again, I am aware of the fact that this game technically came out in 2013, but because 4 of the 5 episodes released in 2014, it's still eligible to be included on this list, and for good reason. Season 2 of The Walking Dead was there alongside The Wolf Among Us as one of the few bright spots of an otherwise really slow first half to 2014. The game built upon everything that was great about the first season, namely the difficult choices and the excellent storytelling, and put you in the role of a seemingly helpless little girl with very little power in the group compared to Season 1, where you were making a lot of the decisions for your band of survivors. In this one, you were a lot more on your own, even when you were with other characters. That change in perspective made it feel like a unique experience compared to the first season, and made it a great game and one of my personal favorites for the year. The 4th game on our list is Alien Isolation. Now this is one that got a good reception from critics, but not a great one, and frankly I don't understand that. Alien Isolation was a phenomenal game. Sure, the game had some bugs. The graphics could occasionally get a little wonky here and there, and those androids were extremely annoying. But when Alien Isolation was at its best, it was the best game this year. This is how you do a survival horror game. The segments of this game where the alien dropped in were phenomenal. They were terrifying. They were one of the most tense experiences you'll have playing a video game. And it was all done so well, from the attention to detail that really felt authentic to the movies, to the beautifully designed alien, to the way that the game built the tension by slowly teasing the alien for the first few hours before finally having it drop into the room right in front of you. It was a phenomenal game that absolutely nailed its atmosphere and tension in a way that few other games ever have. Taking the 3rd spot on our list is Far Cry 4, and in my opinion this game is a perfect example of how to do a sequel right. They took what people loved about Far Cry 3 and didn't really mess with it much, instead just adding a bunch of new content on top of what was already there. New weapons, new locations, new mission types, more variety in the world and the things that happen, and then they took that awesome framework and dropped full co-op support into it, which was an absolutely brilliant idea and something that I definitely hope they carry over into the inevitable Far Cry 5. It's a perfect example of how to make changes without messing anything up, adding just enough to make things feel fresh and new without changing so much that you end up trying to fix what didn't need to be fixed and just breaking it. They added in new content that felt right, that didn't feel like too much. Oh, and they also added elephants. Lots and lots of elephants. Yeah. Taking the runner-up spot on our list is Dragon Age Inquisition. Now this game had a lot to live up to following up on the disappointing Dragon Age 2. After all, people didn't really like that game very much. It scaled back on everything, smaller world, less choices, and focused way too much on combat. Inquisition learned from all of that, finding a perfect balance, with plenty of combat that was a lot of fun, but also giving a huge open world with a ridiculous amount of things to do, and an engaging story with great dialogue and meaningful choices. It managed to find the best of both worlds in a balance that they really haven't achieved since Mass Effect 2. It's everything people expect from a BioWare RPG, and shows why they're one of the best developers in the genre, if not the best. And now, before we reveal the top game on our list, let's take a look at a couple of honorable mentions.
We have the lead.
Just be back before it gets dark.
Yeah, we love you too.
Can you survive the many dangers? Can you help others survive? Can you save Sunset City? Can you? For the love of God, can you? Of course you can. It's a f***ing video game.
Really? Where's the rest of your game?
And the top game of 2014 is Dark Souls 2. Another perfect example of how to do a sequel right. Dark Souls 2 built on everything people loved about the first game, while adding in tons of great new content. New weapons, new locations, gorgeous graphics, and of course, hundreds upon hundreds of new and inventive ways to die horribly. Dark Souls 2 is every bit as frustratingly, controller-throwingly difficult as its predecessor was, and people love it every bit as much. Building upon that framework while adding in tons of awesome new combat, and somehow managing not to screw up anything, Dark Souls 2 has consistently been getting fantastic reviews and an amazing reception from players, and that is why it takes the top spot on our list of the best games of 2014. Well, that's all we've got for this week. As always, let me know what you thought of the video in the comments below. There were a ton of games that came out this year, especially in the last couple of months during the holiday season, so I'm sure I left out a bunch of great games. So if there's a great game that came out in 2014 that you think I overlooked, please let me know down below. And of course, if you have any ideas for other videos, let me know that as well. Any other comments, opinions, anything like that. Of course, if you liked the video, please give it a like. Maybe favorite it if you really enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope to see you guys right back here in the next video very soon. Take care, you guys.